Good morning, everyone. It's the day after I filmed Storytime Sunday, and right now I'm struggling to even want to put this video up on my channel. I do apologize for the choppiness of it. I had to take numerous breaks while filming it. It was a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be, and there's a part of me that still doesn't want to upload it, but yet I do want Xavier's story told, so I'm going to upload it. And if anyone has a negative comment, please keep it to yourself. I'm still almost ready to cry just knowing that everybody's going to know my little secret soon. Not that it's a secret, but to me it was a secret. So, without any further ado, let's get into Storytime Sunday.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. How's your day going? How's your Sunday? Sherry here, aka Diamond Art Addiction. And I think this is probably my third time trying to record this. When I first started filming this cloud over here wasn't touched. And I'm really struggling with this. I'm really truly struggling with telling Xavier's story. This is something that I have never shared fully. And I really just want to leave the grim details out. I don't want to talk about anything that happened that night before getting to the hospital. I just want to tell Xavier's story. That's it. So I found out that I was pregnant the end of December of '98. I was excited and scared, but instantly connected. You know, I thought it was cute that Larissa's my daughter. Larissa was going to have a little brother or a little sister. So I had a pretty normal pregnancy. You know, I had quit drugs. I was clean. Trying to pretend that life was great and everything was going to be okay. I found out at 6 months pregnant that I was having a little boy, so I was pretty excited because I had a girl. And then on Monday, July 19th, 1999, my world changed forever. I'm going to leave out how basically my husband beat me, which caused me to go into early labor. And we ended up at the hospital. They couldn't find a heartbeat, so they brought in an ultrasound machine. And they asked, while we're waiting for the ultrasound tech, they asked me what had happened. And I told them that I had fallen down some stairs. I'm pretty sure they didn't believe me, but they were just rolling with it. So the ultrasound tech came in. And this whole time, it was like as if I knew. It was as if I already knew. Mother's intuition, whatever you want to call it. So they're putting the ultrasound, they put that goop stuff on you, and they're looking, and they're looking, and they're looking. And I said, normally you'll get his heartbeat down by just on my left side, lower left side. They went there, no, nothing. The ultrasound tech had left and went and got the doctor, and the doctor came in and he looked, and then he put the little wand thing down, And he looked at me and I said, I know. He said, I'm sorry, ma'am, but your baby doesn't have a heartbeat. Your baby is gone. I was absolutely crushed, heartbroken. Everything was a bit of a daze. Like, it's as if you're floating outside of your body. Like, you're there, but you're on the outside looking in. It's hard to explain. They decided to admit me into the hospital and get labor going. I had already started having contractions on the way to the hospital. What prompted me to go to the hospital was I had started bleeding bright red blood. So they put me on Pitocin, which is through the IV drip, and I'm literally just in a daze. Like, I'm about ready to. I was trying to get myself mentally prepared to deliver my dead son. And my ex-husband was there the whole time, and all I wanted was for him just to leave. But he wouldn't, and I know why he wouldn't, because he was afraid of what I would say. The whole way to the hospital, he threatened me that if I said anything, that I would never see my daughter again. And I believed him, of course. I believed him. Labor did not take long. He was so little. It didn't take long. They gave me a shot of morphine through the IV. I was pretty bruised. I had a fat lip. And I don't even know. I remember it, but it's like I don't remember it. It's like as if my brain has blocked it out. I remember the doctor saying, one more push, Sherry, one more push, and he'll be here. And I remember that because I remember thinking to myself, no, he won't be here. What do you mean he'll be here? No, he won't. I wanted to kick that doctor in the face so hard. They're saying he's almost here. No, he's not. And yet in the back of your mind, you just got this little glimmer of hope. Maybe he'll take a breath. Just maybe. It was about 2:30 in the morning when Xavier came into the world. But he come into the world sleeping. They put him up on my belly. And I can remember just touching him. I stroked his little back. I just said, I'm sorry. So they left him on my chest for a few minutes, and they know I'm upset because I'm crying. And they asked my ex-husband, did you want to cut the cord? And right away I said, no, keep him away from us. I think that made everybody take a step back. It just came out because in my mind, I knew that he killed my son. But I wanted to protect my daughter. So after I had delivered my placenta, they took Xavier over to where they, the warming bed, and I'm praying I'm like, Buddha, Jesus, anybody, please just give me my baby. Just give me my baby, please. Take me. Let him live. He was innocent in all this. Please just give me my baby back. I mean, he was so active when I was pregnant. Like, he would just move, and, you know, it was the 90s, so of course, you know, I'd be playing Backstreet Boys or NSYNC, and he would just be bebopping away in my belly, and said he was gonna be my little football star because, man, that boy kicked. Oh, did he ever kick? You know, and a part of me died that day. So after they got me all cleaned up and they got me into my room. I was in a private room. And they asked me, they said, do you want your son? And I said, please just bring me my baby. And they brought him to me, and he was wrapped up in a little blanket. And he had a little blue bonnet on his head. And when they brought him, inside the little bassinet thing was this box, and it says my keepsake box, and it had angel baby written all over it. So they put Xavier in my arms. They asked me if I was okay, and I looked at the nurse and I said, what do you think I am right now? She said, I'm sorry. She's like, what I meant is, do you need anything? And the only thing I said is, I just want my baby. And she rubbed my leg and she said, I know, sweetie, I know. So I sat there and I put Xavier, I brought my knees up and I laid him onto my legs. And I unwrapped him so I could take a closer look at him. They cleaned him up pretty good. He had 10 fingers, 10 toes. He had the cutest, chubby little toes. I can remember that. And he had long fingers. He weighed just over 2 pounds. He had long dark hair. If he would have lived, I bet you he would have been born with, I could have braided his hair when he was born. That's how long it was. And then I got the shock of my life when I took the little blue bonnet off his head. He had an indent on his skull, which I later found out was his skull was fractured. And that's what killed him, was he started bleeding into his brain, which came from being kicked in the stomach with steel-toed boots. And I'll leave that at that. So I wrapped him back up and I laid him on my chest. I did skin to skin, and I hummed and I hummed, and I told him I was sorry. I said, I'm so sorry, baby. I should have protected you. And I just rubbed his back and I laid there. I think I fell asleep for a little bit. And then the nurses came in, and I was by myself at this point because my ex-husband went out for a cigarette or something. And they asked me, they said, do you want us to call anybody? And there was a part of me that wanted to call my parents so bad. But then I looked down at my son and I'm like, no, I'm gonna spare them this pain. They're already disappointed in me enough as it is because I'm with this guy and I got pregnant early, and yet they loved my daughter. I said no. And then a few minutes later, the doctor came in to check on me. And he says, where's your husband? I said, I don't know, outside. He says, look, he says, we know the injuries sustained to you and your son were not from falling down the stairs. I just looked at him and I thought of my daughter at home. And I'm like, I can't tell. I don't know what, no. I said, I fell down the stairs. Please just leave it at that. I have a child at home. Just leave it at that, please. I said, I'm gonna leave. I said, I'm gonna go. Once I get healed, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to Alberta where my parents are. So then a grief counselor came in, and I got to the point where I just got mad. And I got mad and I said, can I please just be left alone with my son? I don't want to talk to you, and I don't want to talk to her, and I don't want to talk to them. I said, just leave me alone, please. So they left me alone. And that's when I opened up the keepsake box, and there was like a little envelope for a clipping of his hair, which I got. And then there was for his handprints and the footprints, but I needed the nurse's help with that for the ink pad. Like his little footprints were like that big. Like they were just tiny, just tiny. And then I got his little umbilical cord clip and that "It's a Boy" thing that they put on their bassinets. I got that. And then I made my ex-husband go get me like a disposable camera. Remember those things? Didn't have cell phones back then. Not the kind like we do now. And I took pictures of me and my son so I could put them in the keepsake box. And once that camera, I'd used up all the pictures, I just put the camera inside the box. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I had to take a bit of a break. This is a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be. And I know I'm leaving a lot of parts out. And that's just because I know my children are going to end up, some of my children are going to end up watching this. So I don't want to get into too much of the graphicness of it. It's just sharing my story. So I had my son with me for about 8 hours. And I know I could have had him with me longer. But I wanted to just get home. I wanted my daughter. I wanted to get past this. I didn't know how to get past it. I didn't know. So after 8 hours, I called the nurses in. They helped me with the footprints and the handprints. And then I gave him a bath. And there was a little onesie that was donated that I put him in because I didn't have anything with me. I thought I was going to end up going home that night, still pregnant. So after we were done bathing him and dressing him, I held him one last time in the rocking chair. And I whispered in his little ear that he's not going alone because he's taking a piece of me with him. And that I know I said, I'll see you one day again soon. And I hummed one more lullaby. And then I handed him over to the nurses. I got into my hospital bed and I cried. I've never cried before. I don't think I'll ever cry like that again. There is no word in the human dictionary to describe that kind of pain. A little while later, one of the nurses came in asked me if I wanted something to help me sleep. I said, please. So they came in, they gave me a shot. Next thing you know, I was out. They kept me in the hospital for a couple days to keep me under watch. And on and off, they kept trying to come in, seeing if I would tell them how everything happened, which I never would. I never did. I never told them the truth. I kept that keepsake box very close to me, because that was all I had left. Okay. So a few days after we got out of the hospital, we went to the funeral home and we got Xavier's ashes. We didn't do a funeral or anything like that. It was as if it never happened. Everybody just stayed quiet. I ended up going out to Alberta shortly after that, after losing him, with Larissa, and it was in September, just to go visit my family. I ended up using drugs because I was in so much emotional pain, and I wanted to tell my mom so bad, but I chose not to tell anybody. And like that, I'll say it again, like when Rose in that movie Titanic says, a woman's heart is a deep ocean of secrets. That is so true. So true. So I stayed in Alberta for a little bit, and then me and Larissa ended up going back to Manitoba because, you know, I always ended up going back. Plus I didn't take Xavier's keepsake box with me because fear of my mom finding it. So we went back to Manitoba. It was close to October. It was in October. We went back. And it wasn't long after we got back that I got hit by a car. And how that played out was, in this town, every Friday night at the Legion, there was bingo. So it was my turn to go and help with bingo, because my in-laws were, you know, they were big into the Legion and they helped host the bingo. So I went down there, did the bingo. My ex was at home with Larissa, and I was walking back after bingo, and I got to a four-way stop, and I noticed, like, so here's the four-way stop, right? Like, you go like this and you go like this, right? Like, so I'm over here and this car is over here. So I go to cross the street, and when I get into the middle of the street, it was like they went pedal to the metal, and I tried to jump out of the way, but the car ended up clipping me, and I went up onto the windshield and then came back down. And when I came down, it was like I was kissing shins. And I hit my head, and I don't know if I was unconscious or not. And I laid in the middle of the street for a bit when I came to, and I remember how cold, I can remember how cold it was. And I kept thinking of Larissa. So I started body crawling like this. Like body crawling, because I was about half a block from where we were living. And I got into the driveway and I started screaming And they came out and they're like, what happened? What happened? I said, I got hit by a car. And then I was out. Next thing I know, I woke up in Regina, Saskatchewan. I got sent to the Regina, Saskatchewan in Regina. And my back was fractured from the L1 down to the L5. I had a severe concussion, bumps, bruises, scrapes. My parents were called. They were aware of this. I was in the hospital for about 3 weeks. Hashtag mom life. Bake cookies on a hot day. So I was in the hospital for about 2-3 weeks. And then my ex-husband came and got me. And the whole drive home, it was quiet. And he's like, you survived. I'm like, yeah, I did. He goes, huh? I'm like, what, you want me dead? He's like, well, as long as you keep your mouth shut, you won't have anything to worry about. And what he meant by that was kept my mouth shut about Xavier. To this day, he denies it. Of course he's going to deny it. Who's going to admit to that? Anyway, we got home. And I went to my bedroom. And I looked where I had Xavier's stuff. And it was gone. The ashes, everything was gone. Of course, I started freaking out and I asked where they were. And all my ex-husband said to me was, well, I can't have anything around showing that he was here. I'm like, but he was here. And he's like, well, I don't know if you're going to keep your mouth shut or not. I'm like, there's hospital records. I said, if I want to, it's not that he didn't exist. There's hospital records. Sure enough, I got punched square in the face for that one. And he said, from this day forward, you are never to bring this up again, or you will be losing your other child too. So he got rid of everything. I don't know what he did with it. When I told Xavier's story, I told people I'm the one that got rid of the stuff. Because I felt it was my fault. I should have put his keepsake box in a safe place. I should have kept him safe. And I couldn't even keep his keepsake box safe. Sorry. Okay. So I lost everything. I lost everything of Xavier's. His handprints, his footprints, his hair, all of it, the photos, his ashes. Everything was gone, just like he was gone. And that's why this painting means so much to me. This is all I have of my son now, besides what's in my heart and my memories of him. This is all I have. So to any mothers out there who have lost a child, I know your pain. And that the worst thing people can say is move on. That is the worst thing anyone can say. When I talk about Xavier, it's not because I'm living in the past. It's because he was real. He was a part of me. He was my first son. And nothing more pisses me off. So when people say, move on, don't live in the past. Well, I'm not living in the past. I'm honoring him. It took me years to finally speak of Xavier. And in 2013, we did a balloon release on his birthday. And that was my memorial to my son, because I never had a memorial for him. We did that at my sister's house. And now I've always wanted one of those, those reborn babies. It was like having a piece of him here. But they're like really expensive. So, and then when I seen this painting, I'm like, yes, yes, yes. It was like as if it was meant to be, because he always is in my heart. He'll always be a part of me. And a part of me did go with him that day. A part of me did pass away that day with him. My grandson is named after him. My grandson's name is Grayson James Xavier Cox. So my son lives on. He lives on. And I am so, so grateful for that. Man, for a square painting, these won't stay in place. Squirrel! Sorry, I'm trying to lighten the mood. I know this video was probably choppy and broken up, but it was hard. It was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. And I wanted to be very careful how much I said, because I do know my children are going to watch this. My daughter is aware of what happened to her full-blooded brother. She knows the truth. So do my sons. They just don't know the gruesome details of it. And I don't need to get into those details. Like, that's neither here or there, And like when people ask me, if you could go back and change it, would you? And I say no. They look at me like I'm the worst person in the world. And the reason why I say no is, if Xavier would have lived, would I have Donovan and Carson? Probably not, because my path would have gone a different way. So that's why this painting is so important to me. And I do apologize for the choppiness of this video. It was all over the place. This is really tough to talk about even 20 years later. Still very, very tough to talk about. I have forgiven myself. It wasn't my fault. It was not my fault. It took many years and a couple trips to rehab for me to come to grips with that. Losing Xavier was not my fault. That's something that is on my ex. And no charges were ever laid. I truly believe in the laws of karma. And what I mean by that is, I did end up leaving my ex in 2002. I left him for the final time. And he moved back home with his parents because he was such a mama's suck. I don't like to speak ill of the dead, so I won't. But my ex is now alone. His daughter wants nothing to do with him. His mom and his dad are both passed over. His grandmother is passed over. And the rest of his family pretty much has nothing to do with him. He doesn't have a partner or a significant other. So to me, That's karma. That is karma in its own. He is alone and has nobody. That to me is justice in itself. Because I think there's nothing worse in this world than to be alone. And I know I'll see Xavier again. He's over there waiting. I'll get to hold him and see him smile. And in the meantime, I'm going to have this beautiful, beautiful painting from Diamond Art Club. And Mandy Manzano, thank you. I can't thank you enough, Mandy, for creating this painting. Like, you have no idea how much this painting means to me. This is the only thing I'm going to have of my son. And I don't even know, Mandy, if you're even going to see this or not, but I'm thanking you from the bottom of my heart. The bottom of my heart for creating this painting, and not just for myself, but for any mother who has lost a child. There is no pain greater in this world than losing a child. So if you've made it to the end of this video, I thank you very much. I know it was choppy and I know I was all over the place, but this is the first time I've really spoken of it. Really, truly spoken of it. And I am going to continue working on this painting in hopes that I will have it done in time for his birthday so I can hang it up on my wall. So to get your bonus entry, you've seen the question in the intro. What's your favorite number? For your bonus entry, amen. Just amen. That's it. Your favorite number and amen. That will give you 2 entries in. Tomorrow, Monday, June 3rd, is the last day to enter into the giveaway. I thank you very much if you watch this. I love you guys so much. You truly are helping me to heal. You really are. Your comments, everything just means so, so much to me. So that's it for this Storytime Sunday. I think I need to go drink a glass of wine now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually going to go and I'm going to diamond paint some more. So until the next time, stay positive, live blessed, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, night, wherever you are. And until the next video, bye.